I want to keep going a little bit more with this Foden thing, and I'm just going to correct me if I'm wrong. Your argument is that unless Stones is fully fit and capable of stepping into the midfield from the back, essentially making it that 3-2-4-1 that we've seen and has worked so well for them, alongside Rodri. If he's not there, then Bernardo Silva is really the only person who you would trust to do that, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Kovacic, Mateus Nunes, those guys.
I mean, I don't even need to just watch how many games they've played. Simple as that.
So the idea of a 4-1-4-1, let's say, with Rico Lewis stepping into midfield, for example, which he's done before, which he did last night, and Foden with De Bruyne, you don't think that that's sustainable?
No. On some games it can. So
I guess what I'm driving at is it's something I would like to see in certain games against certain opponents. Yeah, obviously it depends who you're playing as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I need 3 center backs plus Stones plus Rodri, much as I appreciate that then Rodri comes forward more. I think you can get away with more of a passer playmaker. And it can be Bernardo Silva, as we've seen, if Stones isn't there. But I like the idea. I like the idea of maybe De Bruyne dropping a little and passing from deeper in certain situations. I wonder what would happen if Foden tried doing that.
Yeah,
I think you're at the stage where you need to figure out what you have in Foden.
I think it's too late this season to try anything. And Pep would have done it already if he thought it was going to work, especially against like smaller teams. And I think the fact that he hasn't done it, it's not now in the final sprint of the season when you will have Real Madrid in the Champions League, plus the league game that you have to win. You have to win all of them, really. So, yeah, maybe in some games you can do it. I think it was very interesting yesterday to see the setup and the fact that De Bruyne was on the bench against a very low block, because we knew Villa would play really deep, to have the 2 wingers this time. And you said, he rotated the wingers. There was no wingers against Arsenal. It was Foden and Bernardo Silva who were not wingers. So the fact that he started with Grealish and Doku, really to have control for Grealish, that's how he played, whether you like it or not. It's a different player to the one he was at Villa, but that on one side and the one-on-one isolation on Doku on the other side, to have all that pace and everything like we saw in the first goal, that was good. But then in that setup, and Foden central behind a striker that can be Haaland or Alvarez, it doesn't matter so much, then you need Bernardo with Rodri there. You can't have De Bruyne so deep. So De Bruyne yesterday, for example, De Bruyne Foden would not have worked yesterday. It would not have been possible.
No, you wouldn't do it against Villa the way they play. So that wouldn't make sense.
When you do it Sheffield United and Luton, that's it.
No, I think there are other games where you can do it depending how they set up. Especially, even against another top opponent who maybe plays a different sort of block. Even against Arsenal. Look, I'm just chucking this out there, right? Obviously, you had Foden and Silva wide, and then he brought in Doku and Grealish, and it didn't quite work out maybe the way he hoped.
He took Foden off.
The logic, I could understand what he was trying to do, why he did it that way, right? But even then, in certain games, even if I played, what if you've played Foden on the left, for example, right?
Well, we still against Arsenal. You played on the left,
but you play him on the left with different instructions, right? For example, putting in more crosses, even if it's crowded. You get a knockdown, something happens. I just think it can give you a level of variety.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's what I like. Essentially, the last 3 games, Foden's played 3 different positions, right?
Yeah, but that's what, so we go back to my point. When KDB is in the team, the only way Foden will play is wide. So it's very simple. It's if you think that that's enough for Foden to play wide in those games, yeah, okay, no problem. If you think that you're losing out and you're missing out on what Foden is good at, then this is where the conversation is. So what? So then maybe you drop KDB for the Real Madrid game. But if you think that you still get the best of KDB and kind of 50% of the best of Foden wide, then you play them both. But if you think that it's better to get the 100% best of Foden, then that has to be central. So this is calls that Guardiola will have to make. Did he really drop De Bruyne to the bench yesterday to rest him? The guy didn't play for 6 months. Did he bench him yesterday because he thought, I need Foden in a game like this, central, not KDB, not against a deep block, not against a low block like that, not without Haaland because Haaland needed a rest or something? I don't know. I'm really curious to see. And then I don't think we'll see this weekend because I expect everybody to play. Foden wide, KDB central, Haaland will be there.
This weekend, we think he's going to play the same 11 that is going to play Real Madrid. Yeah.
You would think so, yeah.
Except maybe for injured guys coming back.
Yeah.
But
it's a good debate, I think. It's a really interesting debate. Because there's no doubt, just before you go, Gab, sorry, that Foden is the successor to... So whenever KDB goes this summer, the following one, it won't be further than that. So it's either he's got this 2 months left or another season, and after that, he'd be almost 34, he'd be gone. And Foden is definitely the successor for KDB centrally. He will be the number 10 of that team for the next 10 years. It's just what do you do in between now and when KDB leaves?
It's a little bit like there's a parallel with Rodri and Fernandinho, for example, right? Where Rodri was brought in, played with Fernandinho for maybe it's 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even longer, right? Where you kind of had the transition, where Fernandinho was a player who Pep loved, was so important for him, obviously was getting older, and sometimes you saw them together. Sometimes, the transition coming was obvious, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a little different because De Bruyne will inevitably have the injury and durability issues that Fernandinho didn't have. Obviously, when Fernandinho, it's not like Fernandinho never got hurt, but when he got hurt, he would be out for So I'm not 100% on that. I'm not sure Foden. It's not just that Foden doesn't have KDB's range of passing. Foden's a very good passer, but he's a different type of passer at this stage of his career. And again, we're judging him because when we see him pass, when he comes in from wide areas, he's passing the ball when he's on the move and stuff. And just in a way that's different from De Bruyne.
Yeah.
And also, just to remind everybody, younger listeners out there, you go and watch some YouTube of De Bruyne 7 or 8 years ago. You will see him taking players on, skipping past them, the footwork and everything, in a way that it's actually quite similar to Foden. So I don't know. It's fascinating. It's a great situation to be in. A word on Haaland. Don absolutely ripped him a new one on Monday when we reviewed the show. And his take was basically that obviously he prefers his left foot, right? I don't think that's a mystery, right? And he said he was just I thought he was maybe a little hard on him in terms of, we saw the horrendous miss and everything. Is that the case, or do we think actually, you know what, if you're confident with your left foot, I don't necessarily have a problem with you, pushing that.
So Don was like, his right foot is not good enough. Is that what you said?
Yeah. And so that's why, for example, when he completely whiffed on the ball at the far post and so on, and he's so used to doing that move where there's space behind, which obviously there wasn't in the Arsenal game, and he spins off the defender and takes it on his left, and that's how he scores a lot of his goals. I mean, Don didn't go full Roy Keane on him and say, oh, he's a League 2 striker. He looks like almost like a League 2 striker, whatever he said. Is this something that Pep is trying to play on with him by saying, like, all right, you just sit this one out, come back at the weekend, play, and be ready for Real Madrid? Is he playing some psychology, or does he just say, like, I want to get Alvarez minutes as well?
Yeah, no, I think it was maybe a bit of everything. It depends. So Haaland should be better in
everything.
No, but everything outside of scoring, because scoring, yeah, of course you can always improve, but you can't tell me that he's not a great finisher. This is not true. Even if he misses a few chances, his XG this season is he scored 18 goals. His XG is 21 in the league, so it's not that bad. Yeah, okay, there's 3 missing somewhere.
Right,
it's not that bad, right? Should he be better in the build-up play, holding the ball up, taking part in? Yeah, of course. Could he improve technically? 100% on his first touch, on his passing. There's obviously this rondo that is going around now in social media where you see him a bit clumsy compared to the others with the ball. But this is not new. I remember we had a discussion. I remember very vividly a Bournemouth game where he took the ball on the edge of the box and to turn, on his left foot as well, to turn. It was just like Yeah, no, it's not. So when people when people say to me, "Oh, between Mbappe and Haaland," Mbappe is a much better footballer all around than Erling Haaland is. Technically, just everything. But Haaland is this incredible force and finisher and all of that. But obviously, League Two is too far, and I think Roy Keane only meant that in a being part of the game more. But remember last season when Pep said I would like him to touch the ball 50 times a game.
Okay, then
right?
get him. Then don't have.
But that's never going to happen. This is not what he does. So he's like Trezeguet. When Trezeguet was playing, we had this debate in France so many times about Trezeguet. Trezeguet was only scoring goals, nothing else, not giving you anything else.
And just scoring 20 goals a season without penalties and free kicks. So,
but without touching the ball much outside of the box. Full stop. This is not the striker he was. You could not hold the ball up. You could not play with him.
But
it was not. That's not what he did.
The other thing though is it's not like these players go on the pitch and just express themselves doing what they do naturally. They also get instructions from managers, right? So going back, Trezeguet when he was at Juventus, that's exactly what he was asked to do.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to talk about, obviously Haaland, I think does a very good job with his movement, drawing players away and stuff like that, which is what you want. But he's not asked to drop the ball to drop back in the midfield. He's not asked to, have Ederson punt the ball up, take it on his chest, hold the ball, and lay it off, right? It's not what he is asked to do. So to decide that, well, he can't do that. Well, he doesn't do that because that's not the way City play. It's also City have 65% possession. So a lot of times, it's not that often that they need to get the ball off the pitch, and they play out from the back. So I find this discussion a little bit, we always have to take into account what are his instructions.
Yeah.
The other point I would want to make about Erling Haaland and the way he looks and the Rondo video is just a fact. Smaller players in those situations are going to look more graceful and more technical. I know, unless it's Zlatan, right? Yeah. Or
who's an exception?
Or Totti, who are the exceptions, right? But it doesn't mean that they're less technically gifted necessarily.
Yeah.
It just means they're going to, Thomas Muller looks like his limbs are going in all directions. He's not the greatest technically, right?
Yeah.
He brings other things to the table. He's not bad technically, right?
No.
But it's just, they look a certain way. We have to get past that and look at, do they actually produce? Does he control the ball when you get it to him? Or does he look good controlling the ball when you get it to him, right? Those are two different things.
Yeah.